Well, Graham, Mark Byington sits down at the Bud Walton Arena scores table tonight, and he declares that it's time to speak from the heart. And I think we've seen this a couple times from Mark Byington over the years. I'm not sure it's ever been as drastic as it was tonight. Mark
hmm
Byington goes, and I think probably the ninth or tenth words out of his mouth were, "That was embarrassing." And he said that
hmm
was the first time all season that he questioned the compete level of this Vanderbilt team. He said he thought it was afraid to attack the paint, that basically whatever he did on defense didn't work, and that Arkansas got to whatever it wanted to get to. Um, just a statement post game radio hit. It was only like 2 minutes and 40 seconds. But Graham, I thought it was enough to where everyone in existence can see that Mark Byington is really fed up with what he saw tonight. And as Vanderbilt prepares to go to Starkville over the weekend and play Mississippi State, coming off three straight losses, I think you're almost looking at a spot where Mark Byington's not going to try to reinvent the wheel, but this team needs its swagger back, and I think he knows that, and he's got to figure out what buttons to push. He didn't even
hmm
really give Kevin Ingram any hints as to what that was going to be at the end of his radio hit, and at this point, I don't know exactly what those are going to be, but we sure as heck know that tonight wasn't good enough. Vanderbilt falls 93 to 68 to Arkansas, and Mark Byington has had enough to make him want to change some things as well.
Yeah, I mean, and you can hear it in his voice too when you listen to that radio hit, and it's like, I mean, who wouldn't be that mad? Who wouldn't be that upset when your team goes out there and, like you said, they didn't even look competitive at all. I mean, there's like one punch they threw. It's like they're down 20, they get it down to 11 at halftime, but outside of that, they were pretty lifeless throughout the whole game. I mean, you start the game down 18-4. You're getting out rebounded 12 to 2, 14 to 4, whatever it was, and it's like the game, I want to say it was over, but it felt over sort of
Yeah.
at that point. It's like there's no offense. Duke Miles gets two fouls in the first 7, 8 minutes of the game, and it's like he's on the bench, and Vanderbilt has everyone, basically no one except for Tyler Nichols show up offensively. 17 points, 5 for 8, shooting threes in the first half. I mean, he was incredible. Uh, Offensively, everyone else, not really. I think Duke Miles might have finished with 10, or maybe it's Tyler Tanner, who
It's
someone.
Tanner, but it was
Yeah,
on 10
okay.
shots too. So,
Okay,
right, who
right.
cares at that point?
Exactly. So it's like, yeah, Vanderbilt, this was worse than Texas. And the Texas game, we said that was obviously by far the worst they've looked. This was even worse because it's like I think Arkansas watched that Texas Vanderbilt game very closely last week because they saw how Texas was getting into the paint, and Arkansas just did the exact same thing. Actually, did it, and they did it even better because Texas scores 30 in the paint. Arkansas scores 50 in the paint tonight with all the layups and countless dunks. I think it was like 13 dunks or something by the end of the night. I mean, my goodness. I mean, Arkansas just ran them over, really. I mean, just ran them out of the building. And Vanderbilt, they're gonna have to regroup. I think, I'm sure we'll talk about this for a little bit, but Mississippi State's up next, and I think that's a get right game. I think that's a game that I would expect them to win even on the road. But they need to figure something out here.
Graham, I'll say this. They were favored in the
Yeah.
final moments before this game, and they trailed by 31 points at one point. If that doesn't tell you that there's something wrong here in terms of either their intensity and essentially that's what Mark Byington alluded to post game was that they didn't have the right compete level, that they needed to change some things mentally
hmm
prior to how they came in this game, and they did not do that. So I guess we'll kind of chalk it up to that. But I wrote it, and this will be in the column. I'm watching this game, and I'm like, who are these guys in black jerseys? Like, this isn't the Vanderbilt team that we had come to know. Like, the actions that had worked against everybody else, I thought Arkansas just smothered. I mean, Vanderbilt's first three possessions of the game, they didn't get anywhere near a good shot on any of those
hmm
possessions. And you're watching that, and you're like, man, it's going to be a long night for Vanderbilt if anywhere near that trend continues. And then on the defensive end, I thought maybe its lows were probably worse on the defensive end than they were on the offensive end tonight.
hmm
Probably, I think I knew they were going to lose this game when Carter Knox backdoored Tyler Nickel and
Yeah.
punched it. I mean, what was the last time we saw Tyler Nickel get backdoored?
Right.
Especially, I don't know that Arkansas was running anything super complex or anything either. I thought Arkansas was just cutting Vanderbilt up,
Oh
particularly in the
yeah.
first half, though. And I'm just watching it, and I'm like, Tyler Harris gets completely blown by Billy Richmond on a
Mhm.
sideline out of bounds play. What was the last time we saw that happen? I don't know.
Mhm.
I mean, those are spots where you're looking at it and you're saying something is wrong with this team at this point. And I don't know that I'm worried long term necessarily about, I mean, are they good? I think we all know they're good.
Mhm.
I'm watching this though, and I'm saying I did a deep dive on the site yesterday about which SEC champions endured losing streaks and how possible is it? Graham, in the last 10 years, only one SEC regular season champion lost three or more games at once. And a lot of SEC champions never lost three games. So there's a good, I think, three or four teams in the last 10 years that were two-loss SEC regular season champs. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case this year. Florida, I think, is probably the favorite, and Ken Palm has them
Yeah.
losing four games. They might honestly lose more than that because of their volatile guard play. But I'm just looking at it and I'm saying, I think a week ago we were talking about them as an SEC title threat in the
Mhm.
regular season, especially, and we're talking about them as, in some ways, a Final Four contender. I think after the Alabama game was the only time I actually said it, and then they kind of started to make me look stupid from there. But I'm just looking at it. I'm saying I think the SEC title run is probably off the table here. Maybe they can win the conference tournament, but I don't see them. I mean, maybe they'll be in third or fourth. I don't see them necessarily being in the mix by the end of SEC play to win the whole thing. And I just think to a night like tonight, where you see all their weaknesses on display and you see them do some out of character things as well, it really makes you question kind of what you thought of this team through the first 16 games. And I don't know that our evaluations were wrong. I think we were watching what we saw and we were going off of that. But I think we always knew in the back of our head that something like this was a possibility because of the front court discrepancies that they have with other teams and uh, just some of the areas in which they lack. I expect Frankie Collins to, at the very least, be in consideration to come back Saturday against Mississippi State. I think the word there is pretty positive, although I don't know that it's firm at this point. But at this point, Frankie Collins doesn't fix all the issues they have, and I can't say I was expecting that in the third or fourth week of SEC play, Graham.
No, and I would agree with you. I don't know if I can see this team win the SEC regular season title. I mean, maybe you can go on a run. I mean, in March in the conference tournament, anything's possible for sure, especially with a team like Vanderbilt who's got the guard play that they do. But I just think I just don't know how you can win a conference like the SEC when you're getting out rebounded by 12, 13, 14 a game. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's what these last three games has sort of revealed to us is that there's sort of another level to this that Vanderbilt just in the front court in the depth that they have in the paint and down low just does not match up to what an SEC regular season champion should have. I mean, I,
Hmm.
I just can't even really. You could probably pick any conference in college basketball, and I don't think a team that's getting out rebounded by this much at a consistent rate as well is able to win any conference, no matter how well you shoot. So, I mean,
Right.
Vanderbilt, I mean, they can score 70 something, 80 something, all they want. But I mean, when they're giving up, or when you're being out rebounded by double digits, game in, game out, which I believe this is the fourth time out of six SEC games that they've been out rebounded by 11 or more. And so when you're having this sort of stuff happen at a consistent rate, it puts more demand on your offense to score more points. And you just can't do that because you can't expect your guys to go out and score 90 plus a game. At some point, like you're going to have your guys rebound the basketball and play better defense and just limit your opponent to scoring opportunities. And they just have not been able to do that. I mean, I'm just watching Arkansas. I mean, it feels like they're getting every single rebound, especially in the early stages of this game. And they
Right.
quite literally were. And I mean, it's like you just can't expect to win a conference like that. You can't expect to win a conference by simply, relying and trying to score 90 plus a game and, whatever the rebound numbers are or just whatever. Like I don't know, again, I don't know what the fix is. Tyler Nickel had said over the weekend against Florida, like it's more heart. And maybe that's just what it is. Maybe they need to just, continue to get stronger mentally and just tougher mentally and just have more heart. I don't know, what the fix is here, but again, something's got to change. And you mentioned the defense as well. Like they were getting cut up like back and forth all over the place. All these backdoor
Mhm.
cuts, just wide open in the paint, all these open lanes to the basket. I mean, it was hard to watch if you're Vanderbilt.
Yeah, let's play a game here, Graham. So I'm gonna give you a few things, and I'm gonna tell you if I theoretically 2 weeks ago could have seen this
Okay.
imploding in this way, and not to say that it's gonna be this way forever, but to I'm gonna play this game and say a topic, and you tell me whether you thought 2 weeks ago that that could have been the case.
All right.
First of all, the rebounding stuff. I'll say I thought it would happen. I thought they would
Yeah.
get out rebounded by a few teams in the league.
Hmm.
I didn't think I'd be looking at it and saying they would be last in the SEC in offensive rebounds and that you're going into every game against the team at the top of the league and expecting them to just get blitzed on the glass. I'll give it
Yeah.
to you there first and then we'll come back.
No, I mean, I did not. No, I did not see that. I mean, last in the SEC, I didn't shoot. I didn't know that. Last in the SEC in offensive rebound. I mean, that tells you something. I mean, it tells you that they're not really getting any second chance points. I
Mhm.
mean, and so when you're not able to do that, then that's another limit to your offense, and just again demands your offense to shoot even better when you're not giving your when you're not getting yourself second chance opportunities. I mean, boy, that's a concern.
For sure. I think that's probably where I'm at too. I thought they would be capable because I thought the AK Okereke addition and
Mhm.
Tyler Nickel being a year older and them honestly even having more physical guards would make a difference. I think we all knew that their center position wasn't quite as established as maybe they had played it up to be in the offseason, especially once Nicholson came down with an illness and everything like that happened. But I also don't think we expected it to manifest itself this way
Mhm.
necessarily. Second thing I got for you. Did you expect them to have outings like this defensively, like ever? I think that might be the most
Mhm.
shocking one to me that something like this would happen because I look at their roster and I'm thinking, man, that's a pretty good defensive team in the
Yeah.
SEC.
I mean, I think every team like has bad days, but like, I mean, this is the second straight midweek game where they've just flat out just looked not great. I mean, today they were totally non-competitive against Texas. I mean, they were sort of close, for a half or whatever. Then Texas just runs away with it in the second half. So, boy, I mean, I didn't think that they would ever really play like they did tonight, where it was just non-competitive, just totally lifeless is what comes to my mind is just the word lifeless is just how they looked, both sides of the ball really.
I'll give you some defensive stats too that really kind of blew my mind when I saw them. They're last in, or not last in the SEC. They're 16th, which threw me off because now there's 18 teams.
Oh,
Or wait,
no, they're
no,
16.
there's 18 in the Big Ten. What am I thinking?
Yeah,
They're
18 in the
last
Big
in
Ten.
the SEC in defensive efficiency. They're 13th in the SEC in effective field goal percentage. They're last in the SEC in 2 point percentage by their opponents. I mean, that seems like an alternate reality right now, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, it does. And well, here's something that I think is interesting to bring up is the strength of schedule that Vanderbilt had in non-conference. Because you look at teams like Arkansas, they played Texas Tech, they played, I believe, I don't know if it was Louisville or they played a couple of challenging teams in conference. You look at Alabama, they had a tough non-conference. You look at Auburn, they had tough non-conference. I mean, and I'm not like bashing, Vanderbilt. Like, yes, obviously St. Mary's being St. Mary's by 25 was tough. VCU is a tough, team in the A10. You go to Wake Forest and get a nice win there, but it's like it's not certainly not the strength of schedule that teams like Arkansas and Alabama and other SEC and Florida as well, other SEC teams have played. So it's like I'm wondering if maybe the non-conference schedule earlier in the season compared to other SEC teams is starting to maybe show a discrepancy here because I think if Vanderbilt would have played these other power conference teams that have size that have length, maybe this rebounding issue may have been sort of, I guess, warned about much earlier and maybe could have been, I guess, maybe not totally solved, but at least maybe sort of been dealt with at least, or tried to be resolved by now. So I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on that? Does it has a schedule impacted that at all in your mind?
I think more or less, yeah. Honestly, in some ways, I think they didn't get enough credit for the teams they did play.
Hmm.
But also, like, you're right, Alabama and Arkansas, I thought played more upper echelon teams. I will say this, and I guess here's some intel kind of building off of non-conference play. I had heard that they, from a pretty reliable uh, outlet here or angle here. Um, they wanted to go to the players era,
Mm.
and I had heard that basically the players era said win more, and then you can come to the players era.
Oh.
And maybe it wasn't that firm, but I think they're going to be there next year, assuming that whatever they've done this season
Hmm.
continues. Like if they win a game in the tournament, I presume they'll be in
Hmm.
the players era next year. So it's not that they didn't want to schedule stuff like that, but I think you're looking at their MTE, and honestly, in some ways, they kind of got screwed by having to go to Atlantis rather than going to Vegas to play in the Players era. I think that makes a difference for
That
them
is
next
true.
year. And maybe you finally start to see like what happens when they go and they play better teams in the non-league, and also they're going to get a better ACC challenge opponent. So
Hmm.
we'll see about that next year. Last thing for tonight that I thought was interesting. Duke Miles and Tyler Tanner, we've given them their flowers for how great they've been this year. They've been
Hmm.
two of the better guards in the country. They got completely outplayed tonight.
Yeah.
And if you had told me that a week or two ago, I don't know that I would have believed you. That I think that was one of the main differences in this game, and that's why they
Yeah.
got blown out. I think is because Arkansas's guard play, and it's not even singling out Miles and Tanner. Like the rest of Vanderbilt's guards have to be better too. But you're looking at a game like that, and you're saying your guards are going to have to keep you in it, and Vanderbilt's didn't. That I don't think is something that's going to continue to manifest itself,
Hmm.
particularly since Tanner's coming off the illness. And I mean, Miles has got to stay on the floor. He's got to not be in foul trouble as much as he has. But Graham, just curious for your thoughts there. I mean, to me, that's essential. And how you blow out a team is your guards completely outplay theirs. And I thought Alabama or Arkansas's guards completely outplayed Vanderbilt's tonight.
Yeah, no question. I mean, and I thought, that was one of the keys to this game is Vanderbilt had to shut down Acuff and had to shut down, Malik Thomas. I thought if you were able to control those two, then Vanderbilt would have given itself a big chance to win. And the opposite happened. I mean, I just look at the intensity and the aggressiveness that those guards were playing with for Arkansas. I mean, they were just out physicaling Vanderbilt and just out toughing Vanderbilt, and that's how they're getting to the rim. I mean, yeah, they had like a lot of open lanes, but at some points, like they were just driving right to the rim, just going right through Vanderbilt's defense, just with just pure physicality and pure intensity. And so I just thought, Arkansas's guard play was very impressive tonight. Vanderbilt's obviously was not impressive whatsoever. And it's like, I mean, how could you be when you see, the performance that they put on now? Is that something that I think is going to happen again, or at least happen? Often, no. I think, Tyler Tanner and Duke Miles have put on, too many evidence points here throughout this season to where we think, or to where, we might think that, this type of performance happens again. I mean, I think they're going to return to their normal form. And, I just look at their upcoming schedule. You got Mississippi State, and then you've got, I believe, Oklahoma, and then Ole Miss is in there, Kentucky's in there at home. So I think you got, quite a bit, quite a few games here that I think should heavily favor Vanderbilt. And so I think if Vanderbilt's able to, stack up some wins here, get some confidence going again, because the last stretch of the season, you got to play Tennessee twice, you got to go to Kentucky, you got to go to or play Georgia, I believe, as well. And so it's like the end of the season is tough. So it's this middle stretch here that I think favors Vanderbilt, it favors Vanderbilt, and if they're able to win at most or all of those games here coming up, I believe the next 5 or 6 games. I think it should hopefully suit them well for the end of the season because they're going to need as much momentum as much as sharp guard play and as sharp of defense as they can get.
Yeah, and that's been missing for the last week or so. And let's not say that they're not going to finish with a double bye in the SEC
Yeah.
tournament or anything along those lines. Like I still think a lot of things are on the table for them.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the schedule, as you mentioned, lightens up a lot in the next few weeks. They should be able to start stacking some here and getting back on track. And it's better that this happens in January than March for them.
Mhm.
But I'm looking at it and I'm saying I thought they were much better equipped to handle this stretch
Yeah.
of 3 games where might be three of their toughest SEC games yet, and the toughest that they see the rest of the season. Certainly
Mhm.
three of their toughest yet. I thought they'd be better equipped to handle it, especially after what they did to Alabama. But Graham, they got questions, and we're gonna monitor it over the next few weeks.
Oh yeah.
Stay on the site, Vandy on SI. Stay on the channel. It might be our longest rapid reaction for a basketball game ever,
Might be,
but
yeah.
a lot to unpack tonight. Apparently, SEC added two more teams tonight as well. I don't know what kind of brain fart that was. Been watching too much Big Ten, evidently. But thank you guys for watching. We'll talk soon. And I guess if you have two teams that can join the SEC by tomorrow, let me know so that I sound a little smarter. But like Mark Byington said, an embarrassing night for Vanderbilt basketball. We'll leave you with that, and we'll see what happens on Saturday against Mississippi State. For now, Vanderbilt has to take Tyler Tanner's advice from Saturday and have a short memory. We'll see if it can do it. Thank you guys for watching. God bless. We'll talk soon. Peace.